Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another light novel review. Now today we are going to be reviewing Toradora Volume 2. Now this is written by Yuyuko Takayama and illustrated by Yazu, and the publisher is 7 Seas, as you guys can see right there. And the demographic here is shonen according to what the label for the manga is. Now the genres here are rom-com and slice of life. This does have an anime adaptation and it's available on Netflix. I actually watched the first 6 episodes, which cover the first 2 volumes, plus a little bit extra content. And it's pretty well done. The adaptation is pretty good. I really did enjoy it. But, you know, it just really depends on what your preferences are. Now, the premise here is that following Golden Week, a new student appears, and it turns out to be this immensely two-faced girl named Ami, I think, who happens to be a model. And we basically see how she starts to affect the growing relationships between all the characters that we saw developing in Volume 1. And yeah, that's basically it. It's a very slice of life, school-oriented thing. They really don't do that much at school. And there is an actual like action-based plot line there that exists, but I didn't find it all that interesting. So yeah, let's get into the review section here. The plot line is not bad. It is pretty humorous, but it's a little bit odd because it's not as charming as the first volume. And that kind of sucks because the first volume was rather amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought the crazy violent nature of Taiga and Ryuji's like super calm and collected tendencies meshed really nicely, and the whole story was really cute and had this kind of like really enjoyable vibe to it. And I didn't find that to be the case here, mostly because we didn't focus on Taiga and Ryuji as much as we did in the first one. We, added Kushida and Takuma, I think is his name, which is Ryuji's friend, right? And we also added Ami, which really changed the dynamic up, and so caused the plot line to kind of veer off the course that it was setting up to be from the first one. But overall, I thought it was okay. Like, the key plot points here were really just like the introduction, which also introduced Ami, seeing her whole two-faced nature, and then we have regular school stuff, which includes this kind of like community service project where there's this secondary subplot about this stalker guy that is chasing Ami around. And yeah, that's basically like it. And it was really easy to read and stuff, but it just wasn't as enjoyable as the first one. There was also a side story at the end, which really felt dragged out, in my opinion. It follows this younger character that is trying to talk to the palm-top tiger, so Taiga, because the school president told him to. And I felt it was a little bit too dragged out, like it lasted too long. But overall, it was okay. The plotline here is solid. It's not as amazing as the first one. I think it is more intricate than the first one, but I didn't really read this for the action and the thriller and the kind of like stuff that happened. I'm just really interested in the characters, and this took away the focus from them, so that kind of sucks. Now, characters wise, this is like good. It's okay. There's some development between Ryuji and Kushida and Taiga and Kita, or Takuma, whatever his name is, in their like prospective relationships that they're trying to get into. But the whole kind of like Ami thing really changes things up, because it allows for Kushida and Ryuji to spend some time together, and then it changes the way Taiga and Kita interact a little bit. But it also kind of like messes up the vibe, the way everyone interacts, in a really odd way. But it was interesting because it actually did function, she did function as a way to bring all the characters together, but in a way that I really didn't like as much as I really wanted to. Now, Kushida is really cool, and she's super cute and really like dependable, and like, she's all over the place, super interested in school life and stuff like that. And I really appreciate her character because she reminds me of someone that I used to be friends with. But I don't know, Ryuji's interest in her is very like surface level. And it's so odd because, like, dude, Taiga's right there. You guys literally live together. You guys are already in a relationship. Why are you going out of your way to find all these other people? Taiga and Kita have a really odd relationship as well because it's very one-sided. It's all Taiga, and the other guy doesn't even know. And it's so ridiculous. I don't really like it because it doesn't, like it doesn't really make sense. Taiga's a very pragmatic and, straightforward person. So this whole kind of thing, although it is kind of funny that she, like, loses all, mentality around this guy, it's not very good because it makes her feel inconsistent. But yeah, if we're talking about Ami, though, I think she is the most interesting character. But she's like weird. She's bonkers. She's like I don't know if she'd be classified as bipolar, and I don't really want to label her as that because she's not characterized in a way that is honest or meaningful. She's categorized that way in order to make her seem crazy, and I don't really want to label anything like that, right? But she puts up a mask for general people, and then the way she is naturally is like completely opposite. And I actually do like her better when she is herself because it, like, I prefer honesty over like people being like what's it called, like censoring their themselves for others. But like, she comes off as this perfect Japanese girl and she's really not. But she is kind of interesting because she does play up that whole aspect that is very prevalent in the series. That is, the way people look on the outside is not directly correlated to how they are as individuals, which is what we see in all of the characters, right? Ryuji looks like a delinquent, but he's like a super down-to-earth guy that really is only trying to make do with his life and wants to take care of the people he cares about and, clean and stuff. Taiga looks like this gorgeous, pretty doll, and she's actually like a hyper-violent, sad, lonely person. And I really enjoy how this builds and develops. I also liked the side characters that were introduced, which is the student council president, because she's also like one of those types of characters. She looks like this really perfect, nice girl, but she acts like a drill sergeant. And I thought that was hilarious. That was so funny to me. But yeah, I did like the characters and that whole kind of development of what you see is not what you get kind of thing. But like, I just did not enjoy the interactions between the 5 main people because it throws off from what I find to be the most interesting thing, which is Ryuji's and Taiga's relationship. Now, world building wise, there is nothing here. However, the school setting development is good, and we get to see a little bit more of the school and the way the school functions, which I think is pretty cool. But again, it's not actually world building. It's more like setting development. And all it does is just inform you a little bit more about where the location of the stuff that's happening is, right? So, nothing really much to say there. Now, the art here, I'm going to say more or less the same thing that I said last time. It's not bad. It is pretty cute and it does fit the story, but it looks better in color than it does black and white. Because I think black and white, it loses a lot of its charm because it doesn't look interesting, right? In black and white, this doesn't have the very wide, like, brilliant appeal of a more, like, dynamic type of art style, like, say, something in Danmachi or something like that, where it's not necessarily about how the characters look, but the way that they're moving that matters, right? In this one, I think that it definitely is important to see the characters as they are, as individuals, so that you can kind of get in with that kind of idea of what you see is what you see is not what you get kind of thing. And so when they are in color, it's really, really pretty. However, when it's in black and white, I just don't like it that much. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, because it's not, and it takes a lot of technical skill. And, the things and proportions are all pretty fitting. So it's not like it's bad in a technical sense. It's just not my preference, right? So that's basically it for that. Now, if we're talking about fan service, there's really none here. So don't worry. This is still a pretty safe type of story. And I think it should be pretty safe throughout the whole thing, except for a few things here and there when Ryuji's mom is, talked about, because she, for some reason, is like the way that they introduce like the attractive older female character without having her be part of the story in any way. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess, but it doesn't really add anything, and you can really very easily skip it because it's like one scene at the beginning of the book and then it's over with, right? Now, I rated this a 3 out of 5. It was not as good as the first volume to me, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I think this is definitely still above average, like it's above a 2.5, but it was nowhere near awesome enough or well polished enough, in my opinion, to really reach a 4 or a 5. So a solid 3 is good for me. I think this is fun, but again, it just was not as charming to me as the first one. Hopefully the ones that follow do end up being as charming as the first one, because I really do want to enjoy this series as much as I can. Okay, so do I recommend this title? Yeah, I recommend it. I mean, if you like the first one, definitely read this so that you can continue reading the story. But what you could do instead is probably watch the anime episodes that correlate to this if you want to skip it, because I don't really think that there's really that much. I mean, I don't know, like it's really depending on your personal preferences. Depending on how much you like the first one, I think that you should definitely pick this one up. So, yeah. Now, similar titles here. I think the only one that is similar, and I think this is the same one that I mentioned last time, is Side Character, because it deals with this whole kind of like dude that gets judged by how he looks, but then happens to not be like that, and he gets together with this girl that is like also the complete opposite of what she seems like, and they have this development within the school system. So, I mean, there's like probably thousands of other romance novels that are like that, but none that I have read, so there you go. Now, that's it for me. I really don't have that much to say about this book, so that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and see you guys later.